Imagine you file your taxes this year, expecting to get $2,700 in return. But instead you get a call back saying that your taxes have already been filed. What? This happened to Kelly Drost, a resident of Arizona, as reported by USA Today in 2013. She eventually got her money back, but it took 6 months to sort it out. This is a real-world example of identity theft. Someone impersonating someone else for financial gain. As an information technology major, about 35% of my coursework studies dealt in one shape or form and security of both network and data contained in those networks. A lot of personal information is already out there digitally. You have financial institutions, banks, healthcare organizations, and government agencies like the DMV and the IRS all have bits and pieces of our personal information. And there's not much we can do personally to keep those from getting breached. There are measures, though, that we can do to keep our personal information, like social security number, date of birth, place of birth, and financials protected, and from getting into the hands of people that want to gain financially from that information. As long as we recognize that there is a problem posed to us, only then can we examine the causes so that we finally might come up with some solutions for protecting our protection from identity theft. To begin, we should probably define what identity theft is and the problems it poses to our society. So the definition, according to the Bureau of Justice, of identity theft is an unauthorized use or attempted use of existing accounts. So someone takes your wallet, gets your credit card, uses it at Walmart, buy a TV, they're using an existing account. Unauthorized use or attempted use of personal information to open a new account. So someone gets your information, forges your identity, goes to a bank, tries to open up an account, get a loan, something like that. So that's a new account. And then they have the misuse of personal information for a fraudulent purpose. And a lot of this that part has to do with medical fraud, which we'll go over. So a consulting firm called Javelin has done some research on identity theft. And here are some of the data that they have come up with for the scope and financial costs to Americans. So the problem. So 7% of the people 16 and over were victims of identity theft in 2015. At a cost of $15 billion, or basically $35,000 per minute. So this affects everyone, not just the individual that's had their identity stolen. Because it affects your insurance premiums, they're at a higher cost. You get some more credit card fees or higher credit card fees. And then the cost of goods. You go to Walmart where that TV was stolen, where they're going to up the prices on their TVs to help protect against that, the losses. And then just the appropriation of tax money that's used to investigate and prosecute these criminals. In 2015, Laura Shin of Forbes magazine released an article on the growing trend of identity theft for medical fraud. In fact, through their investigative reporting, they found that on the black market, medical records and personal information that can be used for such go for $70 per record, as compared to $1 for credit card information. So this discrepancy gives thieves a greater incentive to focus their attention on procuring the kind of information that can be used for medical fraud. So what problems can they cause after gaining this kind of information? Well, they can set up fake billing for payment. So they'll pretend to be a store that sells, let's say, wheelchairs. They'll use those personal records to say, hey, these people need wheelchairs. Then they send that information to the insurance company. They cut them a check for part of covering the wheelchair. But those wheelchairs have never been sold, never existed. Those people never asked for them. They can also use that information to obtain medical services. They can sell the information. People can use it that don't have insurance for prescriptions, surgeries. And so these all above mixed with the victim's records could result in someone getting medicine that they are allergic to, or even have important data on their record change, such as blood type. So on a personal level, this type of thefts cause disruption of life, damage to your credit rating, and a financial loss. So we have addressed the problems. Now let's take a look at what causes the identity theft, or how they get that information. So according to U.S. News Report and the website whatismyipaddress.com, these are the causes of how these people get our information. You have the traditional methods. So theft of personal property and personal information. So someone's swiping your wallet, taking your purse, or going through your mail. You know, in those things you have, let's say your ID, your driver's license. Well, that has your address and your birth date on it. Use that with some other information, piece it together, and you can forge someone's identity. You also have digital devices, such as computers. You know, we all keep files, medical files, maybe some financial files on our computer, and even phones. Phones, let's say you've taken a picture of your health card to send to your, your wife, your husband, someone like that. So a lot of times phones have that kind of information. And then there's some older ones, some like phone scams. So you have an institution or a person impersonating an institution. Let's say they're calling, hey, we're your bank. You know, hey, we're your dentist. We need this information from you. We need your social security number. You know, we can't get these things filed. And then you have some other kind of less intrusive ones, such as what I call eavesdropping. So you have shoulder surfing. So you're at the library or a coffee shop. You know, someone's looking over your shoulder while you're, doing some kind of transaction on your computer, or even your phone. Say your doctor calls and you're at the grocery store, and someone can just be eavesdropping, listening to what's going on. So then we also have what I call the new age or digital age methods. So you got things like spam or email or fake websites. So someone sends you email. This is kind of like the phone one. They're impersonating to be something else. So you get an email, the bank says, hey, click on this, we need you to update some of your personal information. Well, you click on it, you fill it out. Well, that wasn't your bank. It was someone who got your email, sent you something, then got your information. And then we have the things like malware and viruses that allow your computer to be scanned for sensitive files. And then once they have those files, they can go ahead and use that to set up forgery accounts. So now we have gone over both the problem identity theft poses and the causes that allow it. So finally we can go over some of the solutions to help prevent it. The following are some recommendations to help safeguard your personal information. So in public, be aware of what you're doing and saying in public and who might be around you. So refrain from doing the financial transactions over public networks such as the coffee shops, like here in the library, and that will keep people from shoulder surfing, stuff like that. Only if it's absolutely necessary should you give information over the phone, and you should really know it's that person you're giving it to. So, and if you do that in public, make sure to do it in a secluded area where no one can eavesdrop on that. And then also, I like to say, do more face-to-face transactions. So, if you have to do banking, don't do it online. Go to the bank once or twice a month. Utility payments the same way. Hospital forms, do them in person. Don't do it on websites or mail it in. Just do it right at the office. So face-to-face. All right, here's some things you can do at home. So it may sound a little counterintuitive, but maybe go less digital, more paper. So print a lot of those files you have, those personal files, and then file them away in a cabinet, lock it up that way. And then, delete the digital copy of it. Also shred your mail and outdated files before throwing them away to keep people from going through your trash, trying to get that information. Check all bills for accuracy, especially medical bills. So if you see any discrepancy on there, that would be a red flag that maybe someone's using your identity. And then never give personal information over the phone unless it's absolutely necessary. Go to the office. And then for the digital age, it's about protection, monitoring. So have monitoring on your computer, such as malware, antivirus protection, to help people from getting into your computer. And then also for monitoring, we have a credit checking service. So, have some your credit check. If you see any red flags on there, like a loan that you never applied for or a credit card you never applied for, that means that someone might be using your personal information. And then, according to Reuters in 2014, there's something coming up. They're in the process of medical identity service, which is much like the credit checking, but they'll send you reports on any changes to your medical file, medical billing, stuff like that, so it's easier to keep track of if whatever changes have happened on your medical bill. So there it is, the problem, causes, and some solutions on the topic of identity theft. I hope this speech today has shown you the value in protecting your information, and the identity theft is a real problem in today's society. One we have to face up to, and by understanding the hows of thieves trying to get our information, can we then come up with the solutions to protect ourselves and others from this personal and financial burden. One of the best pieces of advice I saw in all my research was from some security analysts in a report in USA Today. It said, expect to get your identity, or expect to have your identity to be stolen at some point. So if you use that kind of perspective, you are sure to be able to put in safeguard and defenses to help protect your identity from being fraudulently used by others.